So you make your tea or your coffee, you put in the simple sugar, right? In its simplest form. So you have sugar in there. The amount of sugar that you use is even the starting point for the day. So if you're going to use a whole lot of sugar, it means that you're going to spike your blood glucose right away from the morning. Then you're going to top it with carbohydrates, how consuming carbohydrates directly affects your glucose level, whether you are a diabetic or you are not diabetic. We have two types of carbohydrates. We have the simple carbohydrates and the complex carbohydrates. If you consume the simple carbohydrates, which is the simplest form of sugar, the simplest form of sugar, which is what the glucose. If you consume the simple form of it directly, there is a spike in your blood glucose.
So some of the simple ones you already mentioned, the glucose itself or the sugar itself. If you are drinking, whether it's tea, coffee, or you're drinking soda, the sugar that's in there are basically simple sugars because they don't need a lot of work to break them down. So that is as easy as that. If it is simple, it means that it's been broken down to almost no need to break down anymore. So from sucrose, dextrose, and then glucose itself, those are so simple that your body gets it and it's like, oh, this thing, I know what it is. Boom, 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 boom. And it's gone into your blood and you're spiking up. Your blood glucose is spiked up because you are doing those simples. But if you choose the complex ones like what we are looking on our screen, this complex carbohydrate, even though it's beans, has proteins, it still has carbohydrates in there. Even before you can even eat this, before your stomach, even you yourself, before you can even eat it, you have to cook this for a long time for it to be softer. And then once it's soft, you have to also chew it. You can't just swallow it. You have to chew it to break it down even further to smaller units. And then when it goes into your belly, your stomach has to use some acids to break down the fibers that are in there, the chunks that are in there before your body can pick up any glucose from this. So before your blood glucose goes up from this, you would have had to eat a lot of this for your glucose to shoot up. Why? Because it's complex. It's a complicated thing for your body to break this down to glucose right away. Unlike when you're eating something that has added sugar, real sugar or sucrose or dextrose or whatever form of sugar is added. That one is so simple. Your body sees that, oh man, this is it. I'm done. And then your sugar spikes up. So those are the differences, the complex and simple sugar. So if you are watchful of your blood glucose, then we are going to suggest that you include more of the complex carbohydrates, which examples are, beans, lentils, roots. Some of the roots, we say a little bit about the difference. Not all the roots are complex, but for the most part, we can call them complex because they are not, broken down into the simplest units. But if you are eating, even plantain, you are eating yuca or cassava, you are eating yam, those are a little more complex than to eat something that is a little more broken down into its simplest form. So that is what you should eat if you are diabetic or if you want to watch your sugar levels. Eat the complex forms. The only thing is, sometimes the complex forms, they use machines to break them down to make it so simple that it becomes almost as if it is a simple sugar, So if you are, for example, if you're going to buy a cup of beans and they already have put it through the mill and made it a powder, though the fibers and complexity is still there somewhat, it still has been broken down so much that you may pick up more glucose from that compared to if you had cooked it yourself and are eating it or chewing it yourself to break it down. Right?
Yep.
All right.
So like during the day, let's take a day, for instance, in the morning when you wake up and you want to make a cup of tea, right? Or coffee, So you make your tea or your coffee, you put in the simple sugar, right? In its simplest form. So you have sugar in there. the amount of sugar that you use is even the starting point for the day. So if you're going to use a whole lot of sugar, it means that you're going to spike your blood glucose right away from the morning. And you're going to top it with the donuts, with the glaze, and all the added sugar. Sometimes you can really see the sugar on top of the donut, So all this added sugar just for the breakfast, is so huge that your blood sugar is spiked right away in the morning. So if you want to watch your sugar level, those are the things that you have to pay attention closely. So morning breakfast, instead of going for the plain white sugar, you want to maybe replace it with something more complex. So if you talk about white bread, I think we'll go more into detail. The white bread can be absorbed quickly and directly into your bloodstream. You can go with something more like complex, like the whole grain, so that it doesn't get absorbed quickly and spike your sugar. Instead of using sugar, maybe you can use honey, or maybe you can do without sugar altogether.
Or do without sugar altogether. Do without sugar altogether if you can. Now, the reason why I'm saying that is, somebody from church drew my attention to the fact that drinking coffee black was not that bad at all, And when this person told me, I tried it. I'm like, oh, this is not that bitter. But if you look at a cup of coffee black in there, you may think it's so bitter. As a matter of fact, when you drink it that way, you feel the flavor of the coffee more than to add sugar to it and to add, cream to it. You blunt it. You get it blunt and you really don't feel the flavor of the coffee. So no matter what you are eating or drinking in the mornings or through the day, avoid adding sugar. The key is added sugar. Sometimes, like she said, you don't add it. The companies may have already added it. If you are eating a donut, the sugar has been already added. You don't even have control over it. It is in there. So then the best option is to avoid eating donuts, right? Because if you eat it, you got a sugar. As a matter of fact, even those that are not sugary donuts, they have sugar. If you look on the packaging, that's something that I do all the time. Just grab the wrapper and look at how much sodium or how much sugar is added, and then that will tell you that, you have less control. And so for you to actually pick up a tablespoon to add real sugar to something, come on, man. That thing should be done. If they will get you from eating sugar, it should be the sneaky ones that they add that you don't know. But if you yourself are picking up a tablespoon of sugar, a teaspoon of sugar, and adding it to your tea, your porridge, your coffee, or whatever it is, then today, unless you don't care about your blood sugar levels, but if you do care, this is the time to avoid it.